to after, obviously. But now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at
his age,
even at an elder version of him.
And shit, it was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny, because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao.
Yes, Manny, you can't come out of retirement because this guy is so bad. Like, that fired him up a little bit, and then he goes in the ring and he does nothing. He goes in the ring and, like, I thought it was an embarrassing performance from a 30-year-old champion.
Fighters across the sport are genuinely unsettled by Manny Pacquiao's return, and for good reason. Even at 46 years old, Pacquiao moves with a speed and rhythm that resembles his prime years. Shawn Porter, who observed Manny's recent training and his performance against Mario Barrios firsthand, boldly stated that Pacquiao is still that guy. Despite his age, his explosiveness, quick feet, and relentless drive remain razor-sharp. What opponents fear most is that the legendary Pacquiao hasn't diminished at all, and he may still have the tools to dismantle elite-level fighters today.
What do you think about the overall matchup?
Everything, man. I watched him train like last week or the week before, and amazing to see him still move and bounce and do all the same things that he was doing in camp years ago when I was with him. So he's still locked in. He's still him, Crazy, but he is. You know what they say, man. The last thing to go is that power.
Chris Algieri, a former world champion who once shared the ring with Pacquiao during both of their competitive peaks, offers a unique and deeply credible view. In Algieri's eyes, Manny is something beyond normal, a fighter whose capabilities defy the natural decline that comes with age. While most athletes slow down, Pacquiao remains unsolved and dangerous. Algieri called him one of the most difficult opponents to prepare for, describing his style as explosive, unpredictable, and endlessly aggressive. No amount of camp preparation can mirror Manny's timing and pressure. For Algieri, Pacquiao's comeback isn't just plausible, it's hazardous for anyone who stands across from him.
Prior to after, obviously, but now that I understand how difficult he is to deal with, there's no one else like him. You can't prepare for him, even at
his age,
even at an elder version of him.
When Manny Pacquiao stepped into the ring against Mario Barrios, fans expected a glimpse of a faded legend. What they got instead was vintage Pacquiao. At 46, he delivered flashes of the same breathtaking footwork, lightning-fast combinations, and crafty angles that once made him a global force. The rounds were tightly contested, some even argued Manny won more than he was credited for. Even when Barrios edged around on the cards, it was never dominant. Manny's stamina, IQ, and ring control reminded everyone that he's not here for nostalgia, he's here to compete at the highest level once again.
I think Manny's always been good at that. And my son really pointed it out perfectly. He was still good at it. He was still good at it. I think he was stealing some rounds at the end. Whether he deserved them or he didn't deserve them, whatever, they were close rounds. He might have stole them on the judges' cards. What we shouldn't forget is he's a special guy, and he put a special performance. I never saw camps on the legs of somebody that big. I mean, it's incredible. I thought early on he stumbled a little bit. I thought his legs were stumbling a little bit, like you might see in a 46-year-old, a little bit. But at the end, they got the act together. He used them pretty good. He used them pretty damn good. What I think he also did was maybe a little bit of, I think the word illusion is too powerful, but I'd say a little misleading, where he threw those real fast punches like my son said. They weren't quality punches like they used to be, where there was real impact and real power at the end of them. They were more like just quick punches. And they weren't all being impactful. They weren't all landing clean. Some did, but they weren't all landing clean. And they definitely weren't landing with real power. They really weren't.
Influencer-turned-boxer Salt Papi added fuel to the fire with his take on a possible rematch between Manny Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather. According to him, Pacquiao's recent performance proves he's still sharp, conditioned, and mentally locked in. Unlike Mayweather, who hasn't fought a real opponent in years and has mostly stuck to safe exhibition bouts, Pacquiao is still chasing real challenges. Salt Papi argued that a rematch today would yield a drastically different result, with Manny's tempo, hunger, and conditioning being too much for Mayweather's aging reflexes. In his eyes, Pacquiao is the more dangerous of the two legends today.
Spoken to Manny recently? I know you're friends with him.
No, I haven't spoken to him, no.
What would you want to see him do next?
Fight Floyd Mayweather or Gervonta Tank.
You think he beats Tank, near prime Tank Davis?
Like, we'll see. Like, styles make fights, so we just don't know.
What about Mayweather versus Pacquiao too?
Yeah, that'll be a good fight. Yeah, like Manny is still active. So.
Okay.
Pacquiao's performance against Barrios was a stark reminder of why he's considered a once-in-a-generation talent. Every time Barrios stepped forward, Pacquiao answered with sharp, rapid-fire combinations. His movement was dynamic, cutting angles, slipping shots, and constantly shifting position. Barrios, by contrast, appeared cautious and reactive, rarely controlling the pace. What truly shocked observers was just how youthful Pacquiao looked. His legs never stopped, his aggression never faded. Fans and analysts alike questioned the scorecards, arguing that Pacquiao's output and intensity far outweighed Barrios' scattered counters. It wasn't just that he looked good for his age, he looked like he still belonged at the sport's highest level.
That's not what happened. Barrios was so tentative in this fight. He was essentially standing there for some of the exchanges. Manny Pacquiao came out and did what Manny Pacquiao does. By the way, credit to Manny. At 46, he still had some feet. He was moving, dancing on Mario Barrios. He was throwing combination punches going forward on Mario Barrios. And when he wasn't doing that, he was countering Mario Barrios, who looked like a stick in the mud. He looked like he couldn't even get out of first gear because Manny was hitting with combinations. Were they hurting super bad? Maybe not. Some of them definitely were. Had a mouse under the eye of Mario Barrios, but others were just flurries, and they were keeping Barrios at bay. And when Barrios was throwing one, Pacquiao was throwing three. When Barrios would throw out his jab, Manny would counter with his lead right hand, stepping on the inside plane, doing all the old Manny shit. It was pretty cool to see. And honestly, even with the majority draw, it's a win for Manny, because damn, if he can do that off a 3-year layoff at 46, that's pretty telling, for one, where the sport of boxing is when your world champ can't beat 46-year-old politician Manny Pacquiao, but two, just how great he was. 8-division world champion, started his career at 106, I think, comes up to 147. What are we talking?
Not everyone is convinced by Pacquiao's return. Critics have suggested that financial incentives could be driving his comeback more than competitive fire. After all, Manny has already secured his legacy: 8-division world champion, future Hall of Famer, and global icon. He could easily remain retired in comfort and glory. Skeptics argue that stepping back into the ring at 46, with all the health risks that come with it, doesn't make sense unless the money is significant. For them, pride and legacy can't outweigh the dangers of continuing a brutal sport at that age.
Manny Pacquiao crazy for coming back and fighting is because they don't understand what's going on in Manny Pacquiao's life. When a fighter is 46 years old, he doesn't just come back to fight a top fighter because he just wants to fight a top fighter. When he's going through that, that's what's brought him to that place in the first place. And that is having what we call bandwidth extension. He's totally scattered his brain and lost so much money over the course of time. And the same thing that happens when you get a paycheck and you start spending, and because you get shiny object syndrome, you want to get the new watch, you want to get the new gear, you want to eat at the restaurant, you want to go spend money. That's shiny object syndrome. And you can't get it under control the same way that Manny Pacquiao did. He couldn't get things under control. So therein lies the situation where all of that money that he's made, hundreds of millions of dollars, just burnt. And now you gotta fight. But if you really stop focusing on the symptom and start concentrating on the root of this thing, and the root of this thing is bandwidth, shiny object syndrome, trying to be so relevant in so many different scenarios. You wanna train, you wanna run this other business, you wanna do this, you got this great idea. And it all boils down to the term that I use all the time, and that's compensatory control, laser focus. Get one idea, follow through with that idea. You got to have a plan in order to do it. And that's how you get to from here to here. That's when you're 46, you don't have to fight anymore. And that is my message today. Just understand why you're scattered. Understand why you can't get anything going all the way through. You can never finish that thought process and execute the plan, and therefore you continue to find yourself in a situation where you're desperate. You're trying to find a way to get back to where you were, which is easy. But if you stay locked in and concentrate on the compensatory control factor of your life, which is doing everything that you think of every single day the exact same way, and I take 1 minute and go to that playlist.
But Pacquiao has consistently pushed back on the claim that he's only returning for the payday. Over the years, he's proven himself to be more than just a boxer. He's also a philanthropist, politician, and humanitarian. From building hospitals to supporting disaster victims in the Philippines, Pacquiao has used his wealth for others. He insists that his comeback is about passion, not profit. For him, boxing is still a calling. He wants to show that greatness doesn't have an expiration date, and that heart can still drive performance at the highest level. With the Barrios fight in the books, speculation is now heating up around who Pacquiao will face next.
I became a world champion and I realized that this is the time that I can help my family. Before that, we don't have food to eat in one day. We just drink a lot of water to survive. And I remember one time my young brother is 5 years old back then, and he was crying like in the afternoon, 1:30 in the afternoon. He's crying because he's hungry. He's asking for food. We don't eat breakfast, we don't eat lunch. He don't understand what is. When you're telling him no money, we have no money to buy food, and he's crying like, "Mom, I'm hungry." Like he's crying. And I look to my mom and look at his eyes, and the tear flow in his eyes, and then I feel so sad and like. And of course, I'm crying also because hungry. We drink water just to survive. That's our past, so that's why I always told them that, Manny Pacquiao is Manny Pacquiao, but I don't have the right to become arrogant, to become boastful. I want to stay humble because we've been there. We came from nothing.
Rolly Romero has emerged as one of the top contenders for Pacquiao's next bout. Leaked training footage has already shown Romero putting in work, hinting that preparations may be underway. His camp has openly expressed interest, and Romero himself has said it would be an honor to fight a legend like Manny. Meanwhile, names like Gervonta Davis have also circulated, although that matchup seems less likely for now due to promotional complications and timing issues. But one thing is clear, Pacquiao's comeback has every contender watching closely.
No. Tira los golpes largos, ¿me? Porque si da paso ya te pega mucho. Quédate atrás, no te quedas ahí, quédate ahí parado, ahí donde tú estabas.
Boxing Doctor News, Manny Pacquiao's next potential opponent is Rolly Romero, the WBA welterweight champ. Romero is under the same promotion, has the belt, and can sell a fight. He's eager to face Pacquiao, saying, "A Hall of Famer on my resume. Who wouldn't want that?" After Pacquiao's draw with Barrios, his advisor sees Romero as the favorite for Manny's next bout. Romero has knockout power and isn't afraid to bring the heat. Is this the explosive matchup fans have been waiting for?
There's still a strong group of fans pushing for a rematch between Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather, believing Floyd would once again win. What they fail to realize is that Mayweather is not only older than Manny, but also far less active. Floyd hasn't fought a serious competitor in years and has stuck to low-risk, high-reward exhibition fights. In 2015, he faced a version of Manny recovering from a shoulder injury. If they fought now, he'd be stepping in with a sharper, faster, and hungrier Pacquiao who has nothing to lose. For that reason alone, Mayweather would likely avoid that fight.
We will see what transpires, but all these people out here saying that the fight was fixed, a lot of these people were not fans of Manny Pacquiao. When that whole Floyd Mayweather, Manny Pacquiao situation was going on with the steroids allegations, the needles, and the back and forth between the Pac-Tars, as they called them back in the day, and the Mayweather fans, a lot of those fans still hold grudges towards Manny Pacquiao. I guarantee if that was Mayweather that would fight Mario Barrios coming into that fight after a long layoff, all the people would have said Mayweather had a chance, Mayweather gonna win, become champion once again. Mayweather levels above Mario Barrios even at that age. And Mayweather's actually older than Pacquiao. But those same people wasn't giving Pacquiao no chance to defeat an average fighter in Mario Barrios. And that's what I base my pick on, that Mario Barrios is average. Some people that's Tank Davis fans, you know, they want to blow up Mario Barrios into something that he really ain't. Because really before the Tank fight, we're talking about Mario Barrios right now. Before the Tank fight, he took on a guy by the name of Ahmad Aliyev. He lost that fight. And he took a beating from that fight. And Mario Barrios really ain't never been the same from that fight. Go back and watch that fight. That was the fight before the Tank fight. Now a lot of people say, well, he was looking good in the Tank fight. He was winning early in the Tank fight. That was the fact of Tank going up in weight, fighting a much bigger guy on fight night. Look at the difference in size. Not only just, we ain't just looking at the height, but just, he was just a much bigger guy.
Respected boxing analysts reviewing the Barrios fight have made it clear, Pacquiao did more than enough to win. He dictated the pace, stayed aggressive, and kept the action flowing. Meanwhile, Barrios spent long stretches on the back foot, failing to generate meaningful offense. Frame-by-frame breakdowns revealed several rounds awarded to Barrios despite minimal activity. Pacquiao's pressure, volume, and ring IQ painted a much different picture than the official scorecards suggested. To many experts, Pacquiao's return wasn't just inspiring, it was worthy of victory.
Draw.
No.
Because, like...
Weird rounds, hard to score.
Yeah, Pacquiao did better than I thought he did. And that's like, we get into that weird territory in boxing where you start grading on a curve. That's not how boxing works. And I was like, oh, Pacquiao's doing better. He's probably winning. Oh, he won. But no, he probably didn't. And a draw is probably, he's probably lucky to get a draw.
Yeah, as I was watching it and scoring it, and I was in the live chat with people, and there was just so many rabid Pacquiao fans that were like, every time he did anything, first of all, anytime he did anything in the arena, the place went absolutely bonkers, like it was going to tear down. He, honestly, he probably fought 50 to 60 seconds a round. He did not do much. He didn't need to, because Barrios didn't step on the gas pedal at all, at any point. He was so listless and just kind of like ho-humming through it. So Pacquiao was able to steal moments, and he did a really good job of stealing the end of rounds and making an exclamation point. And also, we saw flashes of the Manny of old when he would have that little, like the flourishing signature at the end of something. He'd make that little movement, bang, he'd pop that left hand, he'd fly out, boom, 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 boom. He'd make those little moves, he'd do the fancy feet, and you would be like, ah, but really nothing happened. He didn't land a lot of punches. Like, it wasn't like anything really effective, but it got everybody emotional, it got everybody, and whereas Barrios was the exact opposite. Everything he did was so workmanlike. He has zero charisma. He has no sell on anything he does. He just lacked passion. I know he has Tech Warrior, but where was the passion? Where was the exchanging? Where was the biting down on my mouthpiece and going for it? So there was a lot of opportunities based on how both guys fought for Manny to actually steal rounds, because Mario wasn't selling it. Pacquiao was. The crowd was behind him. But yes, when you do it, you're looking at it almost like you're almost comparing Pacquiao to Pacquiao. You're being like, oh, he fought really good for a 46-year-old. He didn't fight really good for a 12-round main event, champion. He fought really good for a 46-year-old Pacquiao. So you get that idea in your head, like, oh man, he's doing so good, but is he really, or are you just voting for the guy that you like better?
Like, nostalgia is a hell of a, and we were all high on Saturday.
The most surprising result from last night was 46-year-old Manny Pacquiao going 12 rounds and drawing against the WBC champion. And the craziest part of all of it might be that Manny Pacquiao might have been robbed. I generally think that Manny Pacquiao might have won the fight. He looked great, he looked sharp, especially for being a 46-year-old. And this is why I told you guys that Manny Pacquiao's mentality is different. His passion for boxing is unmatched. This is why he's one of the GOATs. From what we saw, we can see that he really put in a lot of work, because in his last fight, I believe it was 5 years ago, he didn't look good. He looked slow. He looked like a 46-year-old, or a 40-year-old, because he was 40 years old back then. But he didn't look good, but he looked great. I feel if the rematch happens against Mayweather, which would honestly be an amazing fight, because they're both old now, so they don't have any excuse of being like, oh, this guy's past his prime. They're both past their prime. They're both old. But if it happens, I think Manny Pacquiao wins. Floyd Mayweather hasn't fought, and he doesn't have the same amount of passion. He fought Logan Paul and Deji, but this guy fought an actual WBC champion and looked great and could have possibly beat him. He said he's not going to stop boxing, and he honestly has no reason why to stop. Now, obviously, I don't think he's like a top 10 boxer right now, or like currently, whatever, but he can hold his own. If he went against someone like Gervonta Davis, yes, he'd get murdered, but there's a lot of fighters that he can go toe-to-toe with right now. I don't know, Waffle Sport content, we're about to hit 1,000.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For more exciting videos, make sure to hit the bell icon and stay updated. Subscribe to Boxing Hub now for all the latest in boxing.